Hi, it's Laura from Lunarfire Astrology, and this is my first ever YouTube video. And it feels quite fitting because this video is about Jupiter moving into Leo, and Leo is all about self expression. So here I am thrusting myself into the spotlight, as it were. Now, Leo is solar energy, whereas Cancer is lunar energy. So as Jupiter moves from Cancer into Leo, um, where it's actually been in Cancer for the past year, the energy is shifting from our inner world, our emotional landscape, towards our vitality and how we show up in the outer world. And you might hear, Jupiter is to do with luck and opportunity and blessings. And it's not that it's not, um, but really Jupiter is an amplifier. So it amplifies whatever's going on, good, bad, ugly, and it holds up a magnifying glass really and blows up whatever's happening. So it can emphasize certainly where growth is needed or where growth is going to take place. And in Cancer, emotions could have just been much bigger. Themes around the home and family could have been just much bigger, really. And there could have been, for sure, opportunities here. But if there were, then they were likely linked to where you felt emotionally in tune with what you were doing or emotionally safe. And if you were a Cancer sun or rising and you were expecting, abundance and a lot of flow, and it didn't quite happen, then it's not just because Jupiter was in an emotional sign, but it's also because it was receiving some tense aspects from Saturn and Neptune in Aries. And so it could have felt like expansion was limited at times and maybe quite frustrating. On the flip side, though, any difficulties that Saturn and Neptune were representing for you, then Jupiter was there as a kind of buffer, a bit of protection. So if you're a Cancer sun or rising, you might have experienced that. I certainly experienced some things that weren't great, but I can see how they could easily have been worse. And Jupiter definitely acted as a little bit of protection, balancing things out a bit. So thank goodness. And I think Jupiter in Cancer and Leo is both is a heart opening. Perhaps Jupiter in Cancer is expanded our compassion, our capacity for compassion. Maybe your heart was even broken in some way, but now that it's open, Jupiter in Leo can flood the cracks with light and expand your warmth and your capacity for generously giving love out into the world. Now, the ruler of Jupiter is the Sun. And at this ingress of Jupiter into Leo, the Sun is in Cancer. And so at that moment, the Sun was in opposition to the Moon in Capricorn because Jupiter actually only made his move just 6 hours after the full moon in Capricorn. So Jupiter's entry into Leo comes with those themes of what commitments have we been building over time, and we were reviewing whether they're emotionally and spiritually aligned with our path going forward. So it would be worth reading the post that I put out on social media the other day about the full moon in Capricorn to get a sense of the backdrop themes for Jupiter's move into Leo. So with the ruler then still being in Cancer, it's a bit like we're still finishing up some introspection and healing before we fully shine our light. And perhaps that light is going to be more authentic and it's going to have more emotional depth because of this. Leo as an archetype is playful. It's to do with children and our inner child. It's joyful, it's heart-led, it's hugely loyal, it radiates warmth, it's fixed fire. So each sign has a different energy type, and Leo is fixed. So it's enduring, it takes a lot for that flame to burn out. It's, pretty determined. Leo is a cheerleader as well of other people, and its job is to shine bright with confidence. The motto for Leo is I will, which really speaks to the bravery that this sign possesses. With Jupiter in Leo, more is more. So, we might expect whatever shines the brightest gets the attention, okay? So celeb culture, maybe the return of the selfie or something similar. The selfie stick actually came out last time Jupiter was in Leo, in 2014. So, it's about being aware that not that phrase, not all that glitters, all that glitters isn't gold, I should say. Jupiter actually, Leo rules gold. So, where there's an opportunity, maybe just checking that it's not just too good to be true and there's a bit of substance behind it. Over the next year, we might expect growth in the arts and the entertainment industries. I might expect epic stories that capture our hearts, including maybe of the romantic variety. And funnily enough, right on time, we had that couple climb to the top of the Empire State Building the other day, which is definitely a bold Leo statement. Jupiter, go big, find one of the tallest buildings in the world in one of the, most prominent cities in the world. And it also spoke to Jupiter being opposite Pluto in Aquarius, power to the people, because their statement was about peace. And then as a side note, the guy actually got down on one knee and proposed in that very risky situation. Leo is about risk. And as a side note, Venus was in Leo. So we might expect, I'm not saying that exact type of story, but we might expect grand gestures and epic stories coming our way over the next year. More entrepreneurship, more creating, whether that's art, babies, or projects. Now, Jupiter goes big or goes home. And we've already gone home with Jupiter in Cancer, because Cancer is, it rules the home. So now it might be about going out and having a good time, perhaps. But wherever Jupiter is, we have to watch out for excess. So with Jupiter in Leo, we might have to look out for being excessively proud, or prone to dramatic outbursts. It's a regal sign, so it's often associated with royalty, and we do actually have, quite a few of our royal family in the UK anyway are Leo rising, and it's also to do with leaders. We have a significant president who's a Leo rising as well, but we have to remember that, we get to choose how we express that energy. So not all Leo risings or Leo suns, whatever, will be the same. They won't use that energy in the same way. We get to choose. But Leo is all about the ego. It's about the identity. So when Jupiter is here, we could get an overinflated sense of self. And at its lowest expression, it leans towards, yes, narcissism. However, that narcissistic bubble that perhaps is going on in the world at the moment could be popped or at least deflated. And that's likely to be in some way by the people. With Pluto in Aquarius, representing the people, sitting opposite Jupiter. Well, it's building an exact opposition in the coming weeks. On an individual level, though, there could be an ego death of sorts for some people, making way for a reinvention. Now, the symbolic meaning of the very beginning of Leo is a case of apoplexy. And that represents where we might lose our center when we have enthusiasm for something and there's a sudden rush of emotional or mental energy that goes into the body, and that can lead to burnout. It can also speak to the need to moderate one's self importance. And this surge of energy could be amplified as Mars is building a conjunction with Uranus in Gemini, which perfects at the weekend, stirring up surprises. So, grounding, really important at this time. Now, conversely, there could actually be a fear of expansion and, putting yourself out there. Jupiter in Leo is amplifying themes around confidence, our propensity to risk, belief in ourselves and our talents. But with Pluto opposite, imposter syndrome could creep in here. Fear of being too much, or, what will people think? Jupiter is also in a tense aspect with Chiron, which just entered Taurus just recently. So there's something else holding us back as well at the moment. And we might feel scarcity or feel that we're not enough or not good enough or don't have enough. And yet, with Pluto and Chiron potentially bringing this fear of visibility, they can also move us towards a deeper, more authentic self-expression without so much need for popularity or approval. Easier said than done, right? And it makes me think about The Lion King. You can't get much more Leo than that, can you? When Simba is told by his father that he can go anywhere the light touches, which is, the sun, literally Leo is ruled by the sun. And, he can't venture anywhere, any into any of the dark places. Perhaps, though, we must face those darker places that, face our fear. And there's a really, there's a big transformation at our fingertips if we act. There is a supportive cradle configuration in the sky at the moment, with Mars and Uranus and Gemini, Neptune and Aries, and Jupiter and Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius. This is actually a profound time in our evolutionary history when it comes to a triad, which is part of that cradle between Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. This is going to play out, it's not a one and done, over the next few years. And it speaks to big transformational change. And I think we're probably going to look back at this time as a pivotal moment in history. And I obviously don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but watch this space. So if you can believe in what you're creating and use your intuition to act bravely and allow Mars and Uranus in Gemini to fan the flame, to create the breakthrough, then if you step into the light, the true power really comes from performing without the need for applause. Doing it for the love of it, not for whether people will love it or not. And ironically, that's actually when we tend to reach the right people, okay? From the autumn of this year, Jupiter is going to conjunct, so sit with the same degree as the South Node in Leo. And that's going to highlight old patterns of visibility that need to be shared. So, putting down the performer's mask for good and leaning into what makes you uniquely you. This year could be extra significant if you are a Leo sun or a Leo rising, but also other personal Leo placements like the moon potentially. And if you have Jupiter in Leo in your natal chart, then you'll be having your Jupiter return over the next year. The return is a full circle moment. So Jupiter goes back into the sign that it started in every 12 years. So 2014 into 15 was the last time that you would have had a Jupiter return. And so you're stepping into another chapter around how you're showing up and how you're expressing yourself in the world. If you want some more clarity and insight into what's coming up for you as a sun or rising Leo, or indeed any sign, to be honest, then just comment life cycles and I will send you a link to find out a bit more about what a personalized reading from me maybe could offer you. But if not, no problem. Just thank you for being here. And I want to leave you with a question. Where have you been holding yourself back from being fully seen? Okay, so I'm going to leave you to ponder that. And I just want to really appreciate all your likes and shares, as it really helps to support the channel. So I will see you again soon. Bye for now.